Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of Arm Change Series Premium Bandai 03 Kamen Rider Sigurd and Marika set. So, another Premium Bandai set. I think this was the first dual set, so we finished out the core Energy Riders here with Sigurd Cherry Energy Arms and Marika Peach Energy Arms. Very quick look at the packaging. It's pretty much Sigurd's fallen over because he's too busy being crushed. Pretty much the same as the other ones, except it's like dualed up, so you got a picture of the riders on the front. Cool, actually really cool side picture of Sigurd on the side. Shows you some combinations you can do with them. This looks to be Sigurd Lemon Energy. You got Cherry Energy, Shinzangetsu, Peach Energy Duke, Melon Energy, there we go, Marika. And then on the back it just shows a shot of the main 4 Energy Riders, which are really the only 4. I guess there's Bear and Lemon Energy and then the Energy Kurokage. And then there's a really cool shot back here of the 2 riders in suit. So yeah, that's cool, and these are particularly fun, I think, because the Energy Riders really didn't partake in the arm changing gimmick. I mean, we didn't see a lot of them do various arm changes, but the Energy Riders really weren't supposed to do that, so that's kind of fun. So I guess we'll start with Sigurd here, who has this base mold here. He's based on a Viking, I believe, so he's got a very unique sort of base to him. He's got these really cool gauntlets and like leg armor to him. But other than that, he's pretty basic. He looks like a superhero, like I'm Butterfly Man. Like he's some sort of weird, like weightlifting butterfly hero. I don't know. But yeah, pretty basic, just like all of them before you put the armor on. You just got the clear eyes setup. You got a pretty basic driver, although you can actually make out that there's a Cherry Energy lock seed there. Pretty much the same base articulation. You got the 360 movement and in and out movement from the hinge joint, a swivel joint here, single elbow joint. It's slightly hindered by his gauntlets more than some, but it's not by very much. And then you got the little single joints here for his fingers. You can do 2 fingers at a time. Swiveling at his chest, or waist, I guess. And then a little ball joint on his head for some movement. A little hinge joint here for some pretty solid range of motion. Swiveling here. Single knee joint and ball joint there. So pretty well articulated. Pretty well articulated, not quite figure arts level, but pretty well articulated. He comes with, obviously, the Cherry Energy Arms, which are right here, which there's a lot of ball jokes to be made here, and a Sonic Arrow, which these honestly aren't too badly painted, and I really dig the way they can sort of spring back to whichever mode you want to put it in. Just taking a quick look at Marika's base mold. She is the only female mold we have. I think she's the only female Gaim Rider. But it's pretty much the same story in terms of articulation, you know, that I just showed. All the arms are the same, the chest, the head. The only real difference being that her skirt pieces sort of hinder her leg articulation, so all the articulation is the same there. It's obviously a slightly different mold to, you know, have a female body mold, but other than that, the articulation is the same. You can see her Peach Energy lock seed there. She's also pretty basic. They look like the Butterfly crew, like they're like a squadron of butterfly people, a squadron of 2, I guess. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and put the armor on. We'll start with Sigurd's. So put it over top, and his is a little more difficult, just because he's got such a wide eye span, and whenever I'm pulling the armor off, his head has a tendency to come off. So here is Bugman. This looks like the villain from Turbo. I think it was like I can't remember his name, but he looked like this. Some people might know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so his is a little more complicated. It's not like it's a huge deal, but it's a little more involved than some. First, pull this around here. We'll fold this down for his chest piece. Fold this back and don't pull off his helmet. There we go. And then with this, you're going to swing this around to become the first part of his shoulder. And then right here, this spins around and then sort of latch it on there to become the rest of his shoulder. And there you have Sigurd Cherry Energy Arms, looking pretty cool. Both of these guys have a really large shoulder. It's funny because in the set, or like in the first pictures, I felt like hers really stuck out. And it still does. It's not quite as bad, which I'll show you, but his seems to be almost larger when he's in person, but I still think he looks pretty good. I think he's definitely one of those arm change figures that it's more intrusive. I don't know. Like Baron, it's a lot more size proportion issues there and a lot more noticeable than some other ones. So I think the figure art, if you're going for a super accurate, you know, figure that's got a lot of details and more streamlined, definitely probably a better choice there. But I don't think this is bad looking by any means, and I absolutely love this line, and I love that I'll be able to put Cherry Energy arms on almost anybody. So it's really cool, and I really do dig it. But just like Baron, I think he's one of the much more obvious ones. And I say obvious as if like he's trying to hide the fact that he's an arm change figure. But you know, there's some, like I think Zangetsu and Zangetsu Shin and Ryugen look really good. And you can hardly even not tell that they're arm change, but I mean they're really good substitutes. And not that this guy isn't a good figure, but he's just one of those more obvious arm change figures. But yeah, still good looking, and I do like him. That sounds really weird. Like I'm not trying to pick him up. All right, now let's stand. All right, so now Marika. So we put on her little armor here. Like, seriously, this gimmick, I think, is easily the best and one of the most fun. Like, seriously, not only can you just have all the figures, but just being able to switch out all their armors to show and non-show is just a ton of fun. Alright, so now let's pull down hers. So, here, this piece, actually, it looks like it's going to be a shoulder, but it's not. It's actually just another back piece. Oh, man, her stupid shoulders slide on. It's always really funny. I have the most problems getting the shoulders to clasp on the exclusives. And then her little chest armor is a little difficult. There we go. A little difficult, and then I do it in like 3 seconds. And then this all slides down to become one shoulder. So, I mean, obviously, if you've seen the design, you know. But, like, for a split second, you'd think that would be a shoulder. Looks like a little tiny turtle shell. But there you have Marika Peach Energy arms. And her shoulder pad is definitely quite a bit larger than it would be in the show. And it still is noticeable, but it's not quite as obnoxious as I thought it was. Like, when I first saw the promo images for this figure, I was like, wow, that's really obnoxiously large. And it's not that it isn't, but in person, once you have it, I feel like the figure looks a lot better, and I actually really like it a lot. It's still a large, you know, shoulder pad there for sure. But it's still pretty cool looking, I think. I actually really like her figure a lot. That sounded weird too. This review is getting weird. She's got a great figure. No, but yeah, she's a really nice figure. She's probably my favorite of the two. Regardless of the shoulder pad, I just don't think it's quite as a big deal as I thought, and I think she's a pretty damn good looking figure. Both of them, I think it's a really good set. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you really like the arm change figure, I can still recommend these guys. I think they're definitely two of the more obvious arm change figures. Like, again, that sounds weird. I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase it. But they're two of the much more, you know, bulky figures in terms of the armor. But they're still really nice looking figures, and I think it adds a lot more fun. I can pretty much always recommend an arm change figure. I can't think of very many that I would outright just say pass, because they always add more fun. And if you don't in particular like the way the arm change figure looks in its default form, you could always switch it to pretty much any other figure, and you might find one you like better, where maybe the larger shoulder pad actually works for that design in terms of arm change. So yeah, I can definitely recommend them if you're a fan of arm change figure. I think it's a solid set. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at WritersRangersRambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, it's Dawson Ryder, signing out.